A woman had an absolute meltdown on her boyfriend at the Fort Lauderdale Airport, Florida.
And you can't even have accountability ever. No, sorry, you're retarded. Like, that's what I'm dead sorry about. You don't give a you were just, dude, mind your business. What the fuck are you doing? Hi. Like, no, you're a loser. I hope you drop dead, and I never want to be in you ever again. You know how to escalate the situation until I get to this point. You fucking asshole. Don't look at me either. Like, life is funny. It's funny. I hate you.
I'm going to be honest with you. This looks like somebody who's bipolar. Now, maybe they've got anger problems, so I don't want to just straight up diagnose them. And maybe I'm just relying on my own personal experience.
Some of the observers at the airport can be heard laughing incredulously at the spectacle unfolding before them.
What's incredible about that is that if the genders were flipped, there would be no one laughing. There'd be people running to jump in to save her from the danger of him yelling at her. But it's just so interesting that people will laugh at this guy being mentally abused like that to this degree. Now, whether or not this is bipolar, I don't know. Not a doctor. But what I do know is that no man or woman should tolerate this type of public display of humiliation ever. But what I do know is that domestic violence against men is severely underreported. And why is that? Well, it could be tied into ego. Some men also fear that if they report something to the police, they will be arrested instead due to a false allegation, or they think that they will not be believed or labeled a weakling.
Bro, you're a weird too. Like, it's not funny. Like, bro, I hate you. You're a loser. You're a loser! Dude, I hate you, and I'm literally going to sorry, fucking
Relax. You're crazy, man.
Get up, young man.
No, you are rushing me to the airport before I literally got sick. You asshole! You good because of you. I hate you.
Whoa.
We're just really stressed.
Wow, even at the end, he said, we are really stressed. Listen, you cannot convince me that in private, she lays hands on him, but he still takes accountability for her behavior.
Okay, so two things. One, I do think this person is bipolar. That's honestly what I think watching that. That doesn't excuse the behavior, because like I said, I've dealt with somebody like that. That's their responsibility to either get medicated or to find good triggers for it, okay? To be able to manage that. What she's doing in the airport, absolutely unacceptable. So it's not something you should tolerate or have to tolerate. Okay. And him sitting there, hey, listen, you enable that shit.
Yes.
Be honest with you, this is not her first time.
Yep.
Not going to be her last.
Yep.
And the way you sitting there while she's just saying all this stuff, you know, there's just some situation where you just got to walk away.
Yes.
You got to walk away and let them have their time by themselves. You just can't accept it. And when they try to rope you back in, because them is like roller coasters, you know. Right now, it's a like this, and then she's going to try to rope you back in. I love you, I miss you, and then that shit's super addictive.
And then
but you have accountability for staying in those kind of situations.
Threaten you
man or woman.
Yeah, they threaten you when you try to leave. Yeah, but I can't live without you, blah, 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 blah. If you leave, I'm going to do this and that and that and the third.
I was dating a young woman. I want to say this was maybe about 5 to 6 years ago. And during the process, she told me that she was bipolar. Now, that was a shock and a surprise to me because I had only seen fantastic personality traits in her characteristics. But after she told me she was bipolar, I slowly started to wean myself away from her. And I did that for my own protection, because I know that the time that might be required of me to heal emotional things that might be happening in a relationship, not because it's under a degree of rationale, but because the chemicals in her brain are firing at a weird rate, therefore causing undue needed stress upon me. It's just not a route that I wanted to go down to when I considered a long-term relationship. So we had a discussion about it, and we amicably went our separate ways. I'd see her from time to time, and we say, yo, what up? And that was it. 2 to 3 years later, a friend of hers that was walking down the street recognized me. We engaged in a conversation, and she said, hey, did you hear about the news about the girl? I said, no, what happened? She told me that this young girl self-deleted. Mental issues, depression, struggles that people go through is absolutely a real thing. And I don't pass judgment on people that get into relationships with those with mental health issues, but I implore you to do all of the research to understand if that type of lifestyle is a lifestyle that you may need to be responsible for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But would you be with a person like that for $100 million? I'm just kidding.
Good one. Yes, I would. Sex was fire. She was nice in some parts. For $100 million,
let's go.
I'm putting her in the state asylum.
Sign me up.
I'm gonna stay married to her, but she's staying in the asylum. Now,
pay me.
I'm paying elder guards. You'll keep this in there, slip her some meds. Okay. As far as this whole situation goes, you know, when they start doing stuff about self-harm and all this other shit, you still have to walk away. I know that's hard for people. You care about somebody. They say, if you don't stay, that's not your place.
Yeah.
That's not your place. I'm going to be honest with you, 95% of the time it's just a tactic to keep you roped in. But the moment you show it's effective once, guess what's going to happen? They're going to escalate it the next time. So if you try to walk away from it then they're going to show you cuts.
Yeah, if it worked.
Then they're going to do something more extreme because they already are inching towards it. It never starts there either, okay? It never just starts at immediate self-harm. Most of the time, it started somewhere else, and someone somewhere enabled that shit, teaching them that shit works. Yep. I tell people, you need to cut that shit out, okay? And it's not your responsibility to endure that kind of behavior so somebody can live. That's not your responsibility. Yeah. You are not their parent, okay? That's not your... I don't even know if I can say it's this case for the parents either. They shouldn't be able to weaponize self-harm like that to keep you in a situation you don't want to be in.
Correct.
And you also have a responsibility, as tough as it is, to walk away from those things. Mm-hmm. But it's not easy. So I'm not sitting here admonishing people who don't make the wrong decisions or to shame them or whatever. I understand how difficult it is. I'm still telling you what you should do. But just because you don't do it doesn't mean I'm here to be like, you a piece of shit. No. I'm just saying you shouldn't do it. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them either. That's my thoughts on that. But yeah, as far as she goes, aside from help, she needs to be held accountable.
I understand what Abba's saying, that sometimes it can be difficult, but I'll be honest, if your situation is what is happening in that video, that should be easy and as clear as day to walk out of a situation like that. At the absolute least, if this chick is laying her hands on you, she should have consequences for her actions. But yeah, there's no amount of love in the world that should hold you feeling responsible for her weaponization of doing harm to herself or having incredibly bad behavior due to a mental illness. You are not responsible for their happiness, and you shouldn't feel bad if you remove yourself from a relationship and now this person is worse off without you.
I'm not gonna have a whole discussion about what she said or what, because it's just gibberish. Oh, you never hold like a... Nothing she says matters. It's all to hurt the guy and for her to vent. You don't have to parse the words. You don't have to understand them. You don't need nothing. It's just gibberish. You all know, because when I was in that situation, things was just flying. Things that weren't true, that never happened, that don't make no goddamn sense. And I was sitting there for a good hour trying to figure out where this came from. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this bitch is just unmedicated. What am I doing? I'm straining myself mentally trying to understand what... She just unmedicated. And she's not handling her shit. And then once I realized that, everything else she flung at me was just like... I felt like Neo in the Matrix. Just, because it just dawned on me at that point that I'm like, all this emotional labor that I'm doing...
It's not me.
All this fighting... This is not my place to fix things, even though she's telling me it is. I'm like, wait, I'm an idiot right now.
I can't do shit. There's nothing I could do.
She won't even acknowledge she got a problem.
There's nothing.
How can I fix something that you say ain't broke?
She wants you.
Yeah.
You want to tell you to fix something that doesn't exist. It's not even broken. It's not there. It's not even there to begin with. So nah, man. There's nothing else that you could do except leave.
But I recognize that it was easier for me because that shit was early. I could see somebody staying in
They
that
get
shit for
locked.
years and then fucking themselves up mentally where they're so in that loop. Like they become mentally unstable from being with this unstable person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could sympathize with that. But that's your job. And that's what I'm telling my viewers. If you in this shit early, yo, listen, you can't save them if they're not ready to be saved.
Here's the thing is that a lot of Abba's comments, I think, are specific to his relationship, his prior relationship with a woman that was on medication, because he kept saying, oh, you're just unmedicated. But it is a discussion point of the over medication in modern times today. There is more antidepressants and antipsychotics being distributed than ever in the history before. And I'd argue that a lot of these people are overly medicated and with the help of their doctor, unwilling to do the deep work to fix whatever issues or trauma that they've experienced within their life. I mean, what truly is a difference if you look at a person who's trans and they're up in front of the Board of Education in their drag makeup, fighting for being able to teach children. The difference between that and this chick who's yelling and screaming at an airport. Really, one is medicated and the other is not. But both to me are crazy as hell. There's a very fine line between some of these women that are on medication and the other women that walk around talking about men ain't shit. Essentially what I'm trying to say is that there is a very fine line between a woman in a relationship that has identified mental health issues and is getting medication for it versus some of these women out here who have experienced trauma through past relationships, that have bad parental upbringing, that listen to women's podcasts, hate on men all day, that will behave similar to the woman in this video. Let's continue.
Shut the f up. Yeah, you better believe it. I wear the f***ing nuts in front of public.
Damn.
You wanna try to look at other women, I'll f you. You ain't gonna look at other women, and you ain't gonna tell me you looking at other women.
We have a little child right behind us.
Yeah, I know. I consult the child.
There's a little boy right behind us.
I already know. Hey, look, I'm not gonna say nothing if you don't say nothing, try to cause a commotion. Because he's a problem. You wanna try to say shit to me? So shut the up. You wanna watch when we get home?
Just take her off the plane.
I'm not bringing my bag to what? If I gotta bring my bag, I'm not ever gonna see you again. I swear to God, don't you ever come to my house. I'll call the police on you. Oh, really?
You're going out of control.
Nigga, I'm going to prison right now. You shut the up. Shut the up.
Okay. All right. Sir, you're come up with us.
No. Oh, you gonna come up?
Yeah, man, I'm getting up, man. Get up.
Oh, I'm a I for f***ing years. I'm gonna get my purse.
Wow.
Are you okay?
Do you want to say I'm assaulting you? You memo? Ma'am. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm going over there. You're gonna be charged with assault. Fine, whatever.
The lesson really here is that although this toxic vagina is fantastic, as what Abba was saying before, there should be no amount of viscous innards, the power within the viscous innards that will take you from your peace. You recognize the BS early, but you ignore the red flags until it culminates to incredibly bad behavior on a flight or at the airport. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Let me know down in the comment box down below what you guys think about my commentary in regards to this. And if you have any stories like this, drop them down below so we can have a conversation about it. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.